Now, the problem is if you're using prosciutto, sometimes you just have to accidentally, because it's so delicious. Oh my God, I love you. You're doing such a good job. Hey y'all, how you doing out there? I'm Chef Blytheblack and I'm super excited to be cooking with you again today. If you're anywhere in North Texas like I am, you are probably hot as hell right now, trying to enjoy some air conditioner and can't even think about eating. But down in Texas, one of the things that we do so well is for growing great fruits and vegetables. Maybe you don't think about Texas as being home of such great fruits and vegetables, but it is. And one of my favorite things to do in the whole world is to make a chilled fruit salad right now in the middle of summer. One of my favorite things to make for Nathan and I is this cantaloupe prosciutto salad. Maybe you don't think that sounds like a good combination, but I can prove to you otherwise. But one of the most important things you have to learn first is how to peel fruit. Now, I know there's a lot of people out there that cut it in half and hack around it and try to do it, but I'm gonna show you the easy chef way to peel a cantaloupe. The first thing you wanna do is you wanna find a good cantaloupe. You wanna make sure it's firm, that it smells good, and that it's ready to come home with you. Okay, once you get your nice solid cutting board and a sharp knife, you're gonna go ahead and slice your cantaloupe. First things first, you wanna cut off the ends so you can create a flat surface. Now, once you've got your flat surface, it won't roll around on you, so it won't hurt you. It's ready to be loved on. You wanna start at the beginning and as close to the skin as possible, you wanna slice down to peel your cantaloupe. This way, if you have any ugly parts or any green parts that don't want to come off, this is a super easy way to slice it without making a huge mess in your kitchen. Now, while you're slicing this, I always like to think about what to do with these. And if you're anything like us, you're either growing a garden, want to grow a garden, or want to do better by the environment. This is a great way to start a compost pile. If you have the time and you have the space, always save all the vegetable peelings and fruit peelings to put into your compost pile. It makes great dirt and helps you make a beautiful garden later. Okay, now I've sliced off all of my cantaloupe, making sure that we get the green, and we're ready to slice. Instead of going through the center of it to get all the seeds, you want to cut around it. So you slice down one side, two sides, three sides, four. Now, in my house, we've learned waste not, want not, so we cut the ends and the ends. And you have encapsulated all the seeds without wasting any of the meat. Right below here, if you push anywhere, are all the seeds just dying to come out and go all over your cutting board. So we put that in the compost pile and we start to slice our cantaloupe. This is a great way to inspect your cantaloupe. See, like I missed a spot, it will happen. And we want to start dicing our cantaloupe. A dice is just cutting things into a square. The easiest way to dice a cantaloupe, you want to slice all the way down its side, all the way through it, and then you just want to turn it. And you're going to slice it all the way the other way. So you go vertically, then horizontally, and you have beautiful diced cantaloupe. Now we want to put our cantaloupe in a bowl. Cantaloupe is delicious. It's full of water, a little bit sugary, so you want to make sure that you're sweet to it when you cut it. If you get into a cantaloupe and it's dry, put it back in a plastic bag and put it in your refrigerator for 2 days. It should be good to go by then. Okay, we're going to continue to slice up our cantaloupe. Make sure we're doing even cuts. It's important that whenever you're cutting anything, you have a very sharp knife and that you're good to it. This is your best friend in the kitchen and an extension of your hand. So you want to make sure you have a nice, beautiful knife, and you always want to make sure you're folding your fingers back as to not cut yourself. By the way, if you ever cut yourself, you always want to be cut by a sharp knife, not a dull one. Ooh, get it over with, make it easier. We're going to keep cutting. We got beautiful squares. It's very important when you're cooking. It's not about it being beautiful, but about having pieces cut evenly when you're talking about cutting things that you're going to cook. Like onions or garlic, you want to make sure they're relatively the same size, but for this, it's a fruit salad, so it's not that important. Okay, we've got our cantaloupe sliced. Now I want to talk to you about one of my favorite ingredients. Anyone that knows me knows that I love bacon. I love it for breakfast, I love it for dinner, I love it for snacks, I even love it for a midnight snack. But if you don't want to use bacon all the time, I am always a fan of prosciutto. Prosciutto is an air-dried ham hock leg. It's the back leg of a ham that is hung up and it is dried for the minimum of 12 months, 24, 36. The longer it's aged, the more expensive it is, but the more delicious it is. If you ever want to give yourself a treat, go for it. Prosciutto is made in Italy, but if you ever had Iberico ham, that's made in Spain and is one of the most delicious things I've ever had in my life, and I'm sort of having a moment thinking about it right now. But we want to get some prosciutto. You can get it already sliced at any grocery store, or you can go to your deli and ask them. American prosciutto is good. It doesn't have quite the saltiness or the thinness of it, but you can get American prosciutto. I mean, a pig's a pig and they're all delicious, you know what I'm saying? Okay, we're gonna take a little bit of our prosciutto and then we wanna peel it apart. Oh my gosh, I love you, friend. Thank you for being here with me. I always find it's good to talk to my ingredients. I appreciate them, their hard work, their sacrifice. So you always wanna be good to them. You then wanna take your prosciutto, and you don't have to worry about being straight or perfect. And you're gonna put it all together and you're gonna roll it up. You're gonna roll it up, okay? This makes it easier to cut, and you wanna make sure you're cutting the prosciutto as cold as it can. So you wanna leave the prosciutto in the refrigerator until you're ready to cut it. And then you're just gonna slice with your sharp knife and your fingers back. You're gonna slice it all the way down. What you're doing is you're finding a way to make thin ribbons or julienning it or chiffonading it. So that way it's easier to cut and you don't have to worry about it. When you pull it out, you're just gonna unwrap it and it'll be all in beautiful, fatty, porky strips for you to enjoy. Now, the problem is if you're using prosciutto, sometimes you just have to accidentally, because it's so delicious. Okay, I'm gonna put the rest of our prosciutto in there. Oh my God, I love you. You're doing such a good job. Once you got that, the one thing that you need, you've got the fat, the sweet, but we always want to add that next layer of flavor or dimension. Fresh basil. This is one of the most ubiquitous herbs. You can find it everywhere in many different cuisines and cultures, but it is delicious and fabulous. The one thing about basil you want to make sure of, it's green and fabulous, it smells good, but you never want to put a knife to basil. Basil cannot be cut even by the sharpest knife because it bruises. The thing about basil, it has to be hand torn. If you ever go to a restaurant that says hand torn basil, it's because people are back there ripping it. That way it doesn't stay bruised, you get all the flavor, and it is absolutely delicious. So you want to throw in your basil, hand ripping it. This is a great job for the kids to do. It's a great activity for the family. Someone can peel, someone can tear, someone can love on the prosciutto. That would be my job if I had the choice. And we're gonna rip this up. Now, you would think that we're done, but in any dish that you make, the most important part is you want to season it. That's right, I understand it's fruit. I know that the prosciutto is salty, but you always want to add a little bit of kosher salt. Whenever cooking, you always want to use kosher salt. Much less salinity, bigger kernels, harder to over season, and it is your friend. It gives you that little flavor. It makes that food start dancing, and you can't wait to have more. And my little secret, my tip of the trade is olive oil. Whenever you're purchasing olive oil, you wanna make sure that you get extra virgin, cold press, first press. That is delicious. If you see light olive oil, keep going. It's a lie, it's canola oil. The tip to buy the best olive oil, the darker the bottle, the better the juice, right? Darker the bottle, the better the juice. So we're just gonna drizzle a little bit of this Italian olive oil. Give it a little bit of flavor, a little bit of fat, a little umami. And we're gonna mix this all up sweetly. You've taken all this time to make it beautiful and delicious and summery. Oh my gosh, you're so beautiful. You're so beautiful. Oh my goodness. And there you have it. a little Texas cantaloupe salad, prosciutto with fresh hand-torn basil. I hope to see you next time. I can't wait to cook with you again. Make sure you like and subscribe to my channel. See you soon.